going to introduce the concept of tracing off, and the first thing you need to do is to put a straight grain line onto your pattern paper. This particular type of paper is called spot and cross for obvious reasons, and each square is a 2.5 centimetre or 1 inch square. It's much easier actually to draw a straight line down this stuff than it is down a plain piece of paper, but anyway, whoops, says she, whizzing off the end and doing a crooked line. The next thing that you're going to do is line up the centre front bodice block onto that line, exactly like that, and then get weights. If you haven't got proper weights, you can use baked bean tins or anything else that is sufficiently weighty to hold your bit of calico onto the paper that you're going to trace onto. You can pin it on, but you have to be careful you're not going to rip great holes in your paper underneath. And with the weights, you can actually move them around. So if you need another one here, you can move it to there and then move it round the thing, as long as you don't move the calico on the paper, so it's running down the centre line. If you're really worried about it moving, then use some masking tape to attach the edge of the calico to the paper. Then you need a tracing wheel, and this is one of my old ones, which it's lovely because it's got a nice wooden handle. You don't need to trace down this line, it's already there. So you're just going to trace round the neck, and if you've never done this before, it can feel quite awkward. So don't attempt to do a long run at it. Keep your lines, keep your bits of wheeling short to start with until you get used to the feel of the thing and how much weight you need to put onto it to get a decent wheel mark coming through underneath. So you're going to trace off this side of the dart, across to the shoulder point, and then round the armhole, move that down, and then down the side seam, to side front waist, and then I'm going to do this side of the dart only because it's accessible from the angle that I'm wheeling, and then across here and that section of waist, oops, and I'm going to mark that and across to there. Before you take this off the paper, flick it up and check that you've actually marked all the lines, these inside lines that you've penciled off and straightened out. Check that you've marked them off all the way through, because it's very difficult, it's not impossible, but it's difficult to put it back onto these lines if you find you've missed something. And I'm actually just going to re-wheel that one because I don't think it's quite defined enough. That's better. It's actually quite surprising how hard you need to press to get an impression. So we've now marked all of those on, and I will do exactly the same with the back. And areas such as the bust line can become what's called a balance mark. The balance marks that are put onto patterns are the road map indicators for joining one piece to the next bit. I will come back to balance marks in a little while. So you can now take this off, and then you've got to go back over all your wheel marks. And this is where I'm actually changing to a black biro so that the lines are clearer for you to see on the video. But when you do this yourselves, could you please use a hard pencil like an H3 and not biro, because it can spread the line too thickly and it will make your pattern inaccurate. So that is now the front block traced off, and at the moment it is what's called net without seams. So in order for it to become a usable pattern, you have to add seam allowances to this.